Look at Naxal activities. We all know, and many of us, you come from East India, you have factories in East India. Many of you work across the nation. We had over 150 districts where Naxal activities were very, very strong, where you literally had no development. Those people were living in abject poverty, with hardly any infrastructure, with hardly any future for their children. No education, no health care, no roof over their head. Pathetic conditions. But under the whole area upon area were influenced by Naxalism. Prime Minister Modi decided enough is enough. We've got to get rid of Naxalism. And from over 150 districts, we are down to barely a dozen. And this few will also be finished by 31st. Another 4.5 months, friends, there will be nobody, no part of India affected by Naxalism. That's the courage of conviction Prime Minister Modi and Home Minister Amit Shah have. They take bold targets, bold decisions, and then follow it through to the end. That's politics of performance. That's good governance. And that is what the people of Maharashtra, with an overwhelming majority for us, people of Haryana, unprecedented vote and majority for the BJP, people of Delhi, getting relief after over a decade of misgovernance and corruption, the people of Bihar. I don't think any of us, frankly, I didn't expect to reach it. But Mr. Amit Shah did, and tongue-in-cheek would say, you know, damn thing looks so good, the result is going to be very good. But do I say it publicly? So he stuck to 160. But when I met him in Patna just before the election, the first phase of the election, you could see the confidence. And that confidence came out of performance. We have done some good. Who had ever imagined that a state where government after government kept the people deprived because they believed that if the people become well-to-do, if the people start having electricity in their home, having water in their home, having television sets or digital connectivity and smartphones, they'll start aspiring for more. Better to keep them poor. That was the politics at one point of time that the Congress or the RJD type parties indulged in. Keep the people deprived and poor so they don't know what's better for them. And what did Prime Minister Modi do? Inform them of the good things of the world so that every child born in this country is aspirational, is working towards a better future for his family and his children. Build up that drive, that fire in the belly to get the best out of every Indian. And I think that is the critical difference between the old age thinking and today's India, where good economics makes for good politics and performance is rewarded. After all, this is the third term of Prime Minister Modi, and we all know how difficult it is for a party in power to overcome anti-incumbency. But you can see state after state across the country where for years people have expressed their satisfaction and confidence in the leadership of Prime Minister Modi and the way he has led from the front to make India secure, to make India an economic powerhouse. And if one was to assess what is the difference between before 2014 and after 2014, I can give you all the statistical numbers, all the fragile 5 to top 5, the macroeconomic fundamentals, the way banking has evolved, the way inflation has been kept under leash, the way growth has been a focus, deficits have reduced, COVID was tackled. I can give you a lot about all the good work that's happened. But if I was to summarize the performance which the nation has experienced, this journey moved from Virasat to Vikas and then Vishwas. For our foreign guests, there was a sense of entitlement. There's literally family-led politics. And we have no objection to somebody from a political family getting into politics, but on his own merits, on his own stake, through performance, not as an entitlement. There was years and years of politics of entitlement, what we call Virasat. And post 14 we saw that move to politics of development. And in his third term, Prime Minister Modi has got the trust of the people, and it's the politics of trust that is powering India towards becoming a developed nation. We came out with the Jan Vishwas bill, and now we've brought out a second version. Just as a piece of good news, we've already readied a third version of Jan Vishwas, which is decriminalizing all the provisions of law wherever we can to make life easier for businesses and the common man. And it's a two-way trust. It is because the government and Mr. Modi trust the people and the businesses of India, and the people trust Prime Minister Modi that this is possible. When you have a two-way confidence in each other, Vishwas, that is what defines India today and helps us become the world's fastest growing large economy. Has helped us to take 27 crore people out of abject poverty, extreme poverty in the last 11-12 years. That is what has powered us to become from the 11th largest to the 4th largest economy. Well on track to become the 3rd largest, well on track to become from a 4 trillion economy today to a 30 to $35 trillion economy. All of this is possible on 3 pillars. The pillar of Atmanirbhar, self-reliance. The pillar of Atmavishwas, self-confidence. And the pillar of Atma Sanman, where we have confidence, self-respect. Because today when we deal with the rest of the world, we deal from a position of strength. We deal with confidence. We work with the recognition that we have the power of 1.4 billion Indians behind us. ये 140 करोड़ भारतवासियों की क्षमता है और उनकी ताकत है जो हमारा भी हौसला बुलंद करती है कि हमको भी आगे तेज गति से देश को लेकर जाने के लिए हिम्मत देती है। बड़े लक्ष्य की तरफ तेजी से जाने के लिए हम सब में आज वो आत्मविश्वास है, हम सब में आज वो आत्मनिर्भर होने का जुनून है और हम सब में वो आज आत्मसम्मान है कि हम किसी के सामने झुकेंगे नहीं. That defines the India of 2025. And friends, it's a critical moment in history where the world is going through very volatile times, very uncertain times, full of challenges. full of ambiguities. In this VUCA world, India is an oasis in the desert. India provides stability, provides an ecosystem of prosperity, of growth, of unity in our diversity. India does FTAs with developed nations, with confidence, because we know we can compete with them. We complement the work that's happening in developed nations with the work that India is doing, which creates for a win-win situation for both parties, both stakeholders. We are today working towards inclusive and sustainable growth, where growth cannot be the power or the fulfillment of a few people's desires, where 140 crore Indians, 1.4 billion Indians will enjoy the fruits of development. And we are a conscious, responsible global citizen. And therefore sustainability is at the core of our development imperatives, of our growth and our performance. It's not because somebody else told us any inconvenient truth. It's not because some other country or nation told us you have to be sustainable. Sustainability is at the core of India's thinking. It's at the core of the way we've all lived and been brought up. Every Indian is conscious of waste. Every Indian respects and recognizes the importance of nature. So much so that probably India, through ancient texts, recognized the energy and power of the sun far, far, far before anybody else could even imagine that there is something like solar energy. And friends, together we can do wonders. If we all take it upon our shoulders that we are going to really work together as a team to make India a developed and prosperous nation by 2047. I think no power on earth can stop us. And let me make an offer. On our part, as government, we'll focus on 5 elements. FICCI, FICCI. We'll focus on fiscal discipline and build a strong foundation, the macroeconomic foundation. We'll give you the enablers. We'll bring a deep focus on innovation, building up the culture of research, of development, indigenous capabilities in that. We'll provide connectivity and critical infrastructure that's required. We'll give you opportunities for commerce, a greater degree of trade possibilities around the world with more and more well-meaning, balanced, strong free trade agreements in consultation with all of you, protecting Indian interests to the maximum level, but still it has to be a two-way trade. We'll also give you a corruption-free government. And finally, we'll focus on inclusive growth so that every child born in India has a bright future ahead of him. That's our FICCI commitment to FICCI. Honorable Prime Minister, when he addressed your 93rd AGM 5 years ago, had said, and I quote, FICCI's centenary celebration isn't far away. you must increase your role in nation building and make it more comprehensive. Towards that end, I have 5 asks for you. सौदा तो 2 तरफा ही होता है ना. First, audit your advocacy outcomes. Advocacy is an important role of any organization like yours. Speaking up for industry, being more demanding. I remember we have friends from the tire industry here for years. They were suffering for lack of policy initiatives of the government. But if you continue and you persevere, you get heard. Audit all your advocacy engagements and see where we stand. Also see whether it was really in national interest or were we swayed at times wrongly. It's possible. And I think if FICCI was to assess how many times your ideas got accepted, which are the ideas which got accepted, which did not, why they did not, maybe you may find some which need to be reiterated. Don't give up. There may have been some ideas that got lost along the way. But this exercise will help you in assessing your own role in the next century or coming years in a new way. It will revitalize your work to be the voice of industry. Second, please set bold targets. We need all of industry to be bigger and bolder. We can't rest on our laurels. We can't be satisfied with incremental growth. We need to be aspirational. We need to venture out of the ordinary. Let's be much more bolder. In fact, I've often said, and again at the cost of repetition, because I persevere and I'm sure I'll be successful. We need domestic capital. We need Indian money to get into the startup ecosystem. We need Indian money to get into innovation, R&D. We can't have a situation that all good ideas are sold out to foreign investment. We welcome foreign investment. But after the unicorn status is achieved, at the initial stages we should have domestic capital, leaving something on the table for the promoters also of that idea, or the startup entrepreneurs, or the visionaries of tomorrow. But be bold in your outlook and your ambition. Third, study the best-in-class facilitation models. How does Korea do it? How does Japan do it? How does Australia do it? How did Sweden do it? Which will also help you assess what more FICCI should be doing. Should we be looking at an outward foray through international operations? Can some of the senior leaders of the organization adopt? So, Mr. X, I've been advised by friends I shouldn't take names when I give a speech, otherwise I often give responsibility while I'm speaking. But can Mr. X, who has a plant in Italy, help us seed a FICCI representative office and trade promotion set up there, which will look at commerce, which will look at tourism, which will look at technology, which will look at investment, become a hub for FICCI in Italy because they already have an operation there. The small incremental investment, FICCI will rise over there. Look at facilitation processes around the world and what more FICCI can do. Can we emulate some good practices? No harm in learning. Fourth, all of us need to mentor our next gen leaders. While I'm really delighted when I see all these youngsters holding important positions, I still feel disappointed when I see that many of our next generation, no names taken again, is never to be seen in any engagement. Not necessarily FICCI, but any engagement other than weddings and parties. When will we see your next generation start attending FICCI AGMs and meetings? When will we see them getting together and coming up with a position paper with their modern outlook, their international thinking, with their education from the best of universities, engaging with society, engaging with your CSR activities, engaging with advocacy, policies, new generation policies. We need to see much more of that. And that's why we need to mentor these kids. Somebody must have mentored us who are sitting here, right? We need to take that to the next generation. And the same would go in tier 2 and tier 3 cities also. Can't be a Mumbai, Delhi, Kolkata initiative alone. And lastly, can we drive our partner organizations around the country who are aligned with FICCI? You are a federation. Can we drive this to every district in the country? Can every MSME in remote areas also get good messages about quality consciousness, about sustainability, about formalizing their working? Can we bring export to the fore as not something which is, if you have an order you will export, but something you are really proactively working on? Because we find that a lot of businesses are so much in their comfort zone, happy cocoon of large domestic market, they don't even bother to look outward. Many times, yesterday I met somebody who says, I keep often getting franchise interest. He's in the food business, but I don't know where to start. What's the first step? Whom do I talk to? Government on its part will try its best, but will always have limitations. You can do much more with your span across the country. And if exports, compliances and formalization of the economy, feedback from the ground up, all of this is taken up on mission mode. FICCI and the activities of our apex chambers will not remain restricted to just the big picture or the big business, but will truly become an integral part of India at the core, India across the nation. As they say, comfort is the enemy of greatness. Let's make FICCI the uncomfortable leader who will power India towards Viksit Bharat. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honourable Minister, sir, for that very